Deadly clashes are continuing in the key border town of Lashio in Myanmar. That's between the military and an ethnic armed group. That's the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance, or the MNDAA. Reports say the military's second in command there has died from attacks by the MNDAA. This comes as a third party. Now, this is Myanmar's most powerful ethnic Wa state army, entered Lashio in northern Shan state over the weekend for peacekeeping purposes and to protect its properties there. Wa State is a self-administered zone in Myanmar known for its close links to China. Our spokesman told CNA earlier that its troops entered the area with the consent of the two warring factions. Wa State has so far stayed clear of any conflict since the coup in 2021 and has notably not fired a single shot despite its troop deployments in recent months. Early this year, the Myanmar military lost to MNDAA the city of Leong Wai Kit, which is near the border with China. Losing Lashio, which has trade links with China, would further dent the Myanmar army's control in northern Shan state. The Myanmar military confirmed earlier that it tapped on the Wa State army to roll out peacekeeping missions in Lashio. China has warned Myanmar against harming Chinese people, projects and businesses there. And CNA's Leong Wai Kit joins us right here in the studio with explanation and context. Wai Kit, the Wa State Army, we don't hear a great deal about it. Why is it stepping in now? Wherein lies its interest?
Great point, Wesu. People who watch Myanmar after the coup would not have heard very much of Wa State Army because it stays out of the limelight, strategically so. But it doesn't mean it's not a force to be reckoned with. Let's just talk about the ties first, the Wa State Army's ties. It is a close ally of China, as you said. Many of these Wa State people speak Mandarin. I've interacted with Wa State soldiers. They speak fluent Mandarin. And in terms of ties with the Myanmar military, a few years ago, during COVID, the Myanmar military donated supplies, medical supplies to Wa State, and they took that opportunity to reaffirm ties between both sides. So, ties-wise, it is friendly to everybody, but it's also very strategic. It has intentionally stayed out of the Myanmar military coup affairs since 2021. As you said earlier, never fired a single shot, stayed neutral, yet it was able to expand its territories through negotiations and playing its cards right.
We mentioned deployment, so it doesn't fire, but it does deploy strategically.
Yes, and that's a very visual a visual strategy, if you will, because if you see Wa State soldiers, and they're the most powerful ethnic armed group with lots of heavy machinery, and you know that they mean business. And so when you see them strategically march in, it is a form of deterrence, because as you said earlier, they've discussed this with the Myanmar military. They needed Wa State Army to be there as a form of deterrence, but clashes are still ongoing there. They still have soldiers being killed, civilians are being killed in Lashio where they're fighting. So let's go back to why Wa State is such an important role. It is seen as a kingmaker role, but it will not go beyond its peacemaker role because there's no reason for Wa State to step up and fire or to get involved in the clashes. One of my Myanmar security expert contacts, Amaratiha, said that if you look at Wa State, you naturally consider Wa State and China as very closely linked. And with that dynamics, when they negotiate and mediate with the Myanmar army, that could lead to territorial concessions. And if the other ethnic armed groups along the border see this as a model, they may do the same thing. The downside, says Amaratiha, is that ASEAN's push for dialogue for all these stakeholders to come together may be undermined because if everyone's busy chasing their own model, they may not want to be part of this dialogue or this dialogue process that ASEAN is pushing for.
Meanwhile, we are seeing the state of emergency in Myanmar, and I just asked you, that was started right after the coup in 2021. It has been extended several times. The army could extend it again, given what's happening in Lashio. What are the chances of that?
I think it's almost 100% because in any shape or form, it is confirmed that Amichai Minawang wants to hold on to power. Sources have told me earlier that he's so afraid of his power being threatened that he put senior level members such as your President Thein Sein, ex-President Thein Sein, under close watch because he's afraid that people who meet Thein Sein may do something to threaten his power. Days later, he became acting president. So no matter what state, no matter what shape or form, he wants to hold on to power because if he has promised elections, He will say that you will need to control the violence in the country, and of course, you will need time to move your loyal, trusted aides across the political spectrum to secure victory. So in the next few days, we are expecting that either the state of emergency will be extended or, in a different form, the control of power will still remain under Min Aung Hlaing's hands.
Thanks, Wai Kit, and I'm sure we will be speaking to you over the next few days and come to that over the next few weeks and months. Leong Wai Kit speaking to us there in the studio.